Hi, Sam Villa here. I am so excited to share with you some really simple, easy ways to get some curls, some different, interesting ways. Now, I'm going to warn you, this takes practice. I realize some of you out there are really talented with irons. For those of you that are not, I'm going to start out with a simple one, and then we're going to work and graduate up. But what's most important, if you're not talented with an iron, I want to warn you, keep your iron off. Always watch, just watch the video and just follow my hands, okay, in terms of how they're working. Once you've done it without touching the iron, then I want you to turn your heat on and try these techniques. That's really important. Once you burn yourself, you're going to get intimidated and you won't try these techniques, or you're going to think that they're too difficult when they really are simple. So let's just really start with a simple curl called a flat wrap. That's right. Imagine the hair just being flat wrapped right around. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to use a professional Marcel iron. When you're at home, you are going to work with a spring activated iron. Okay? Spring activated is for you, the consumer. You're going to see some salon professionals, and a lot of salon professionals are going to work with a Marcel iron. Reason being, there's a little bit more you can do with this, but you can do these tricks also with a spring activated. So let's begin. Okay? I'm going to hand my iron to Holly. She's going to hold that. Obviously, my product of choice is very, very critical. So I'm going to work with my Redken Iron Shape 11, a thermal heat protector. 11 is, imagine this, 11 times stronger than water. That's the control or the hold that you're going to get, the memory you're going to get out of the section. All right, so I'm also going to be working with a large comb. This is going to make it a lot easier to get through the section as you're combing. Don't work with a regular, narrow, small comb. It's just going to be a lot more difficult for you to work with. So let's go through. I'm going to just take a section here in the front. Okay, I'm going to take this section. Now I'm just going to do a simple flat wrap. And with a simple flat wrap, all I want to do is I just want to take this and just wrap it coming away from her scalp. If you want it coming away, then you're going to simply wrap it going away. In this particular case, let's wrap it forward. Product of choice, Iron Shape 11. Now watch. All I'm doing is just give a nice soft mist. Okay, at least a minimum of 6 inches away. I don't want you too close. If you get too close, you're going to get the section wet. Then I want you to just come through and you're going to comb that section through. Just combing. Why? What you're doing is you're simply just going in and just combing the product and getting it all the way through so that you get the product so it's evenly distributed through that section. Let's take our iron. Okay? Now you've determined whether you want to point the iron up or whether you want to keep it down. Do what's most comfortable for you. In this particular case, I'm going to point the iron going down. So notice how I point the iron going down. Now watch how I have that section pinched into the palm of my hand with my index finger and thumb. We're simply going to come through, open up the iron, and I'm going to come in and just flat wrap it. Notice how I come back around, I'm keeping that section flat. Notice how I pulled on it and I just brought it a little bit closer. I'm going to close, so you can close your spring activated iron, but as you close, I want you to turn, okay? And then I want you to come back through and iron and turn. And now all I do is I just keep pulling it out and working it through. So you just click your spring activated iron and you're going to achieve a nice flat wrap type of curl. It's almost like you're going in and working with a roller, if you will, that comes through, okay? Now when you work with these, I'm going to encourage that you work with your hands and just come through and just get the type of curl that you want out of that. That is a flat wrap type of curl. Now let's go in and let's create something a little bit more lazy, something that's a little bit more softly defined, has a sense of laziness to it. It's almost like the curl is a little bit more organic and not so strong as this one. Let's take another vertical section. Okay, and once again, this is a lazy curl. Okay, once again, my product of choice, Iron Shape 11, coming through, working that right through. And now, what's important is combing this through, making sure we comb that product through. Okay, now this is my lazy. So let's start out going the same direction. So now you come through, and now watch what's important you do. Roll the iron as you come through and close so that you're not going to get a mark. Okay, maybe on that last section you might have seen me get a little bit of mark. My friends, I'm not going to stand in front of you and claim that I'm perfect. I will make a mistake, but it's only a mistake if I don't learn from it. But be aware, what we refer to as the blade can leave marks on you. Now notice what I did. I wrapped that forward. hold on this section, simply lift your spring-activated iron. In this case, I'm using a professional iron. And notice where the blade is. It's on this side in the front. I'm simply going to turn the iron around. The blade is behind the section now. And all I'm going to do, we were here with the blade this side. Now watch what I'm going to do. Turn the iron. So now the blade is in front. I'm going to close and roll and wrap the opposite direction. So you can see it goes one direction, and then I go the opposite direction. Allow that to bake. How do you check the temperature, Sam? Simply place your finger over that. As soon as you feel your finger is hot, release that, and now hold on to the section. Notice how I'm turning the iron opposite direction. Okay, I love this because it gives it a really kind of a sense of a wave and a curl happening at the same time. Now, in today's world, I don't really like curling the ends and getting them in there. Leave them out. I think the means to creating today's ends is just leaving them out. Now look at that curl. When you finger through this, look how it goes forward. Okay, look how it goes forward. Then I'm going back, and then I'm coming back forward. Now when I do this, watch when you finger through this one. Look at the undulation you get on that, how lazy that is, as opposed to this one being a definite type of curl pattern. So far I've given you a flat and a lazy type of curl. Now let's go in and let's say that we want to create something a little bit more interesting that has a little bit more curl to it, maybe like a spiral type of curl. Okay, let's take another vertical section. Notice these sections. These sections I'm taking are very narrow sections. Remember, the thicker the section you're working with, then you're really going to have to camp out with the heat. I want you to take finer sections. That way you're not relying so much in terms of the heat really working for you. Understand, heat is your best friend, but I want you in control. All right, a spiral wrap. Once again, our iron shape 11, we come right through. We mist. I like to mist on both sides, making sure I get the product through. Combing the product through. Okay, once I've got that, now I'm simply going to take this section and I'm just going to twist it. And I'm just going to lightly twist, sliding my hand down, sliding my hand down, sliding my hand down. Now there's so many things that you could do. You could braid this section, and can you imagine curling the braid? Awesome. You could braid a section, sleep on it overnight, take the braid apart, and you've got these really kind of beachy type waves depending upon how big the braid is or how small the braid is. Now all I simply want you to do is just wrap this spiral, just wrap it right around your iron, pushing it right up. Look how I get the ends in, bring them in, and then you're going to take in your particular case, you take your spring activated iron and you'll simply go in and just let the spring close on it. Now remember, measure your temperature. Because this is a spiral wrap, it's a much thicker type of section. So I really want you to make sure that you allow this to bake. So important, my friends. If you don't allow it to bake, it's going to collapse on you. That's why a lot of times curls collapse, is because they're not allowed to cool or they don't have enough heat. We're simply going to slide this one out. Now watch what I've got. When you release this, you're going to have a real spiral interesting effect. You're going to get a little bit, watch the texture when I go through and I'm just working with my hands. Notice the texture you get. Notice how lazy that is, a real lazy type of wave to it. Notice the curl here, a flat wrap, a lazy type of curl, and a spiral curl. Now watch this. Interesting texture, because when I come through and I release this, I want you to look how much curl I have on that. But once again, use your fingers. You're going to get a little bit more intense type of curl. It's almost like it's been wrapped with, maybe back in the old days, I think they used to use cloth to wrap sections. Notice how I'm just going through and just getting another interesting texture. I really believe, my friends, why don't you combine two types of techniques together? Maybe you're going to apply a flat wrap, next section, a lazy wrap, next section, a flat wrap. Alter them so you get different types of curls out of it. So I've given you a flat wrap, which is real simple to work with. I've given you a lazy, really opposite directions, and I've given you a spiral wrap. Now let's make a wave. Let's say we wanted a wave. So let's come in and take another section. Okay, I'm going to take a section. All I want you to do now is, this one requires some patience, and it definitely requires some time in terms of practice, practice, practice. Meaning do it again and again and again. So now we're going to take our iron shape 11, okay, our thermal heat protector. Always coming through. Remember, my friends, I continue to say it if you've been watching my videos. Product is not an option, it is a necessity. Now watch what we're going to do with this one. This is very interesting. I want you to take a look at your pulse, and it's almost like you're reading your time. When you do this, it's about establishing the rhythm. Watch my palm of my hand go close, My thumb and index finger are right there. Once again, you could use a wand if you wanted to on this section. You don't necessarily have to open up your spring-activated spoon, or what we refer to as the blade. You simply come in. Notice how you're going to place the barrel behind it. Now, I recommend you work with a wand. It's a lot easier. Okay, here we come through. Look at my pulse. I look at my pulse. I glance at my pulse. Let's read the time. Look at your watch and read the time. Notice how close my hand is, my thumb and index are, to the barrel. We come through, pulse. Now I look at my watch, time. Now all I want you to do is simply slide down, go diagonal, and then push back up. Okay? Sam, this one looks so difficult. Remember what I said. Patience, patience, patience. But I guarantee if you nail this one, you're going to love it. Here we go. Pulse, time, slide, and diagonal, push back up. Pulse, time, slide, diagonal, and push back up. Now don't worry about these ends. If these ends don't want to go in, just grab them and just hold them right there. Now watch what I'm going to do. Just hold this. Okay, so important. Just hold that. Allow that to bake. Now watch my finger come on top of what's a spiral wrap. Remember I showed you that. There's a flat wrap. So we're simply going in and combining a spiral wrap and a flat wrap together. That's all we're simply doing. Make sure you allow this to bake. Watch me measuring my temperature. Okay. My finger's pretty hot. My finger is starting to melt. Time to move on. Okay, so now here's what I want you to do. Remember, there's 3 things that you need to be aware about a curling iron. Heat, tension, and thirdly, cooling. Allow these to cool. So look how I didn't allow that to drop with gravity. When you allow your curls to drop, they stretch with gravity. So what I would suggest you do here at this point, just simply take a little clip, and pin that, and then move on to another section and pin that. Here's the next step. When you've got this, now watch the wave I'm going to get. I'm going to come through, I'm going to release that. I want you to place the palm of your hand underneath, and then I simply want you to take the large tooth comb, your large comb, and I want you to simply comb through that. And now look how we've been able to create a wave. You create a ridge, that's that spiral wrap. This is your valley, that's that flat wrap. Your ridge, spiral, and flat wrap. My friends, if you can nail this one, people are going to ask, how did you do that? I learned that from Sam Villa on his website. That's right. We're all about you. Now look at this. Look at what I'm creating on this side, and I'm just working all of these little techniques right through, and you can just see what it is that we're creating. So you can combine a lot of these just to create a really interesting visual texture. Now let's create another one. If you're really talented with a flat iron, or maybe you might find this is the easiest one to work with. Let's go through and take a section. You notice I've been taking vertical sections. On this particular technique, I want you to take a horizontal section. So I'm going to start up on top, and let's pretend I did all of this with this particular technique. You're going to simply come through, once again, iron shape 11. How many inches away? That's correct. A minimum of 6 inches away. It's nice, soft little spritzes. What's the next thing we do? That's right. Comb the product through to distribute the product through the entire section. This time we're going to take our flat iron, and we're going to come through with our flat iron. Now I want to push the hair into an S pattern. So watch how I'm going to fold it into S's, into an S shape, a C shape. It's almost C, 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 C. You connect those C's together, you're creating an S pattern. You want to push the hair in the flat iron. What do you mean, Sam? Take a look and watch. Okay, so I come through. Now look how I just pushed that in. Look at the C. See the C? I come through and I hit that with the flat iron. And I want you to just tap, 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 tap. Then I want you to start to push the opposite direction. Continue to tap, 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 tap. Then once you're here, I want you to come through, use your index finger to push that in the opposite direction. Let the flat iron do the work for you. Notice how I come through? I push opposite direction, opposite direction, opposite direction. And I just continue to hit with the tap. I just tap, tap, tap. Now watch me come through, opposite direction, tap, 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 tap. Notice how I haven't moved the iron down the section. All I'm doing is just pushing these little curved sections into the iron. Continue to tap, continue to tap, continue to tap, and then coming through again and pushing through and continue to tap, continue to tap. No, I'm not burning my fingers, my friends, because I'm hitting it with the edge. My hands are just touching the edge of it. It's not as hot as the inside. So I come through, I continue to tap. Remember, push it inside, push inside. So it's all these little S sections or C little sections that we created, working our way down to the end. And I want this to look, once again, very organic, very natural looking. Now watch what we're going to get. You're going to get a nice, cool little wave pattern out of that gives you that S pattern. So you could do this to the entire head. I highly recommend what you do is just allow your hair to dry naturally and then come and use this technique just in certain different places so you create some interesting visual character out of that. And once again, combing that through, you'll see it bounce away from the head, but once again, it gives you a really cool little wave pattern. All right, one more I'm going to give you, which I think you've probably seen, but never fear, Sammy is here, and we want to give everything just to you. We're going to take a flat iron. Okay, so let's switch our tools and let's move to a flat iron. So you can see that a flat iron in today's world is not only used to straighten or flatten the hair. I want to tell you something. There's movement in today's world with the hair in terms of what we're doing. So create some cool movement with it or create some curl. This flat iron here that you see, the Sanvia Sleeker, look how round it is. So what I want you to know is go buy one of these at your salons. Okay, and then what you do is you use this as a curling iron or you use it as a flat iron. Duo purpose. Watch what I mean. Okay, I'm just going to take a section. Okay, once again, coming through with our product of choice, iron shape 11, spritz, minimum 6 inches, very, very much a key. Product not an option, a necessity. And I continually tell you that in just about every single video we work with. Now watch the iron. All I'm simply going to do is just take the iron, place it in vertically. Then all I want you to do is just give it a half turn towards your scalp. Then all I want you to do is slowly start to slide out. And remember, slow down to speed up. So that what you do is you're going to go in, and it's almost like hair is elastic. So when I stretch it out like this, it's going to bounce back on itself, and you'll see what I mean. Now notice how my hands are attached to each other, so I keep a really nice, even pace. So when you look at this, you're thinking, oh, he's straightening the hair. But watch what happens. As it comes through, remember, hair is like an elastic. Now when it comes through, watch what I get. I'm going to go through, and I'm going to get a really nice, what we refer to as a ribbon curl. Some really cool techniques for you to work with. So imagine, look at all the curls that we put together. There were 6 different types of curls that we put together. Remember, my friends, it's all about practice. Do it again. Just watch the video, grab your irons, and do them with me. And when you can do this, look at the multiple types of texture that you can create. Sanvia here for you to help you look even more beautiful than you are. Thanks so much for watching.